Welcome to All Abilities Homestead. If you are new here, my name's Deb, and I am doing life in a wheelchair. This week, we finally got above freezing. April 15th is our freeze date to avoid planting outside. So I finally was able to get out and get my raised beds planted. I'm loading up all of my plants. And yes, that is a tomato plant between my feet because when I'm carrying stuff out, I use every available space to make fewer trips. I do the same thing when I'm carrying groceries in. So I've got tomato plants, pepper plants, asparagus, seed potatoes, and all seed potatoes really are is if you have potatoes that sprout in your kitchen, you can plant them and they will grow. So gathering up all my plants, obviously I did not get the camera pointed well on this one, but I'm planting asparagus. I'm doing 5 plants per bucket, which I'm just doing 1 bucket of asparagus, but 5 plants, kind of like you would do a dice, 4 and then 1 in the center. My asparagus will not produce anything this year because generally it takes a year after you planted it. But I did buy 2-year crowns, which gets you a head start on when they'll start producing. You can plant from seed, but then it takes a whole lot longer before you start seeing actual asparagus that you can pick. And you'll notice that my grass is wet and I got stuck. So sometimes I can rock back and forth a little bit and help it to gain traction. On this particular day, it did not work. So I had to call my daughter, which is another reason you should always keep a cell phone on your wheelchair. When my daughter is not around to call, sometimes I've had to actually call 911. But I do get to meet some really attractive firemen that way. So I decided to hold off on the asparagus until things were a little bit drier and I won't get stuck again. And I moved down and started working on tomatoes. I'm only doing 3 tomato plants this year. I'm doing a purple Cherokee and I'm doing a beefsteak, and then I'm trying something new which are called California Golden, I think is the name of them. They're like cherry tomato size, but they're going to be yellow. I did water my planters real good before getting started, which is why the grass got so wet, so that my dirt would hold a hole. When I pulled it back, it wouldn't keep caving in on itself. And then I just kind of loosen up the pot and slide it out. If I did not say this in a previous video, I really recommend that if you are having a garden in a wheelchair, make it somewhere easy to get to. A lot of people will plant their gardens in the back of their yard or out a ways, and that's not always great with a wheelchair because anytime there's any weather, you can't get out there to take care of them. Plus, it's hard to keep an eye on them if you're not passing it every single day. So I have always put my garden either along the driveway or along the front porch. That way I have easy access to it. I notice every day as I'm going in and out if there's anything that I need to pick or trellis, or if it looks a little droopy and I know that I need to add some water. Although that was not the case this week. It rained and it rained. On this day, I was trying to get everything planted before the rain was coming in that evening. So I went barrel by barrel. I have 1 barrel of bell peppers, and I have 1 barrel of jalapeno peppers, and I have 1 barrel of habanero, and then I have a barrel with my tomatoes, and a barrel of potatoes, and a barrel of asparagus. And that was all of my big barrels. I have the green stock on the porch, and that is mostly going to be herbs and lettuces, things that I get to a lot for everyday cooking. And then I have, what else did I plant? Cucumbers, zucchini, and yellow squash. Those are in little buckets on their own because they will vine out and take over. So I kind of wanted to be able to put them away from everything else so that I could still get to the garden without running over it with my wheelchair. I know that there will be some people saying that I am planting these too close together. I am putting 6 pepper plants in a barrel. And I know that most places recommend that you have a little more space than that. However, I will tell you that I have always used Mel Bartholomew's book is Square Foot Gardening, and he plants things a little bit closer together. Plus, there's a couple of YouTube channels that I watch that are in other countries. I guess mostly in Italy. And in Italy, because they have such limited space, they really pack stuff in tight and still seem to be able to get plenty of return on all of their plants. So I'm putting them in a little bit tight, and we'll follow back up at the end of summer, and I'll let you know how well that they did. Trying to figure out where to set stuff so that I can keep planting. Oh, incidentally, those little greenhouses that I got to try this year, I wasn't impressed with them. I have a few plants that were salvageable to be able to use, but most of them got way too leggy. They shot up really tall and spindly. And then whenever I went to transition them outside to get adjusted to the outside weather, they just pretty much flopped over and died. So I cannot recommend the little bitty greenhouses. I think the only seeds that I had that did well in there were the vining types, the zucchini and cucumber and stuff like that. It's funny how the spring sunshiny days are so cool that you don't really realize how bright that sun is. I did not realize until that night as I was getting in bed how much of a sunburn I got on my arms because I wasn't smart enough to put sunblock on. Just gathering up all my pots. I do return those back up to the nursery where I buy some of my plants, and they will reuse some of them. So I don't throw away anything unless I absolutely have to. It's funny how whenever my wheels start to spin, all it takes is a little bit of a shift in weight, either forward or side to side, and it helps to grab traction. Usually. I mean, unless it's really muddy or wet, in which case then I just slide down deeper into the mud. And all I really do is kind of wiggle it back and forth till it loosens the pepper plant in the pot. I kind of squeeze the roots just a little bit to break them up, not a lot. And then backfill it. My plan this year is not to use cages on my peppers or tomatoes. I don't know if you've ever watched the YouTube channel The Veggie Boys, but they do not put any cages. Of course, they plant hundreds of acres of tomatoes and peppers, but they don't put cages on any of them, and they grow just fine. My plan is if they need a little extra support, I'm going to use some twine and truss them up to the porch. So I got done just in time, and then the rain started pouring in. We ended up with a grand total of 4 inches. Here's my little gnome. So I'll keep you posted throughout the summer. We'll see what all we end up with. Have a blessed day.